Welcome back to New Day Spirituality. I'm the Sparkling One. I really wish that I could post a lot more, and I will be working on that in the future. I do get heavily attacked, and I am surviving the matrix just like everyone else, but it's important work. I want to give a special thank you to my Patreons, and I will be working on new content for you guys. Welcome to new subscribers. I am so looking forward to connecting with all of you. I just think that it's so cool that we're all interested in expanding our psychic abilities and remote viewing. I am on the Instagram app often, and I will leave my social links below. So I did some remote viewing on the new secret detention camps being built here in America. We've already had FEMA camps spread all across our country for years now. But this is new. This is new developments, okay? This is the same department, FEMA. And reports are coming out that they are extending contracts to all 50 states. These are secret contracts that they want to have new secret detention camps built in all 50 states by 2029. And this is going to be millions and millions of dollars. I honed in on one location that is already being built. It's alarming. We've already had FEMA camps. So what's going on now? There's always something, right? There's always something with these people. First, I had an aerial view. You really can't tell exactly what the purpose of this building is yet. It's very large, boxy, warehouse-like structure. And I do notice that there's like a bustling activity towards the west, to the west of this location. But this feels very rural. Descending down my consciousness really wasn't paying attention to the outside of the building. My consciousness descended right into the walls of this building, right into the wall, or the it's an important section of wall, and I see the workers. I see mechanical mechanisms being placed into this structure, and one of the mechanisms is a pulley system, and this pulley system, it's like it's hand turned, or it can be it's manual. That's what I'm trying to say. A manual system is being placed inside this building. Also, I get the sense that this structure functions independently of the electrical grid in this area, and it's being built to function independently of the grid, like an off-grid type of. There's an importance on this being off the grid. The electrical system is going to work with solar, and it's going to work with some manual type of system. But the emphasis here is that it's off-grid capable. I did mention that this facility is going to be very large, but I also saw that this facility expands downward 2 to 3 more floors. So this facility is not designed to build upward. It's built downward, with the most important floors below the ground. So the emphasis here is to get below the ground and off the grid. The year 2029 is important here, and after seeing that, I believe that they're preparing for the asteroid and the meteor shower. Also, psychically, what I get is that foreign troops will be bringing people to this location. Foreign troops, such as UN. There's a lot of fear that political dissonance will be brought here. You know, people that will oppose the New World Order. I'm not getting that. Hopefully, I can alleviate some fears in that way. These facilities are going to operate off grid in a grid down situation. They are preparing for societal collapse. These detention facilities will be for maintaining some sort of order, cleaning up the streets. People that are acting chaotic, that are looting, rioting, that are out creating crime and havoc, there will be some sort of order, because the prisons operate on the grid. So there will be chaos at the prisons. So the prisons may empty out during a grid down scenario. And they need somewhere to house all of these wild individuals, these wild, lawless. That's the key word here, lawlessness. So they need these facilities in place by 2029 to help control the lawlessness that will be going on.
Apophis is a huge near-Earth asteroid approximately 1,100 feet or 335 meters wide. It rose to prominence in 2004 when early observations revealed that it might collide with Earth around 2029. Though it will pass spectacularly close to Earth in 2029, a collision has been deemed out. Apophis is expected to pass Earth on Friday, April 13, 2029, at a nominal distance of 19,662 miles, 31,643 kilometers. This is in comparison to the Moon's average distance of about 250,000 miles, 380,000 kilometers. On April 13, 2029, when the stadium-sized asteroid 99942 Apophis passes uncomfortably near to Earth, a team of South Korean scientists plan to greet it in space and return a sample to Earth. The South Korean plan is to approach Apophis in January 2029, just before it makes its close approach to Earth. A spacecraft launching from Earth in late 2027 would follow the asteroid as it passes by our planet. The objective is to study and map Apophis the entire way, looking for possible structural changes resulting from its close encounter with Earth and the gravitational forces of our planet.
The scientific community is spoon feeding us information on this Apophis asteroid, but information has been coming out during the hypnosis sessions. There's going to be a meteor shower, and it's going to affect the northern hemisphere of the Earth. When I was remote veering for World War III, we saw that Mr. Putin, he's aware of this asteroid. China and Russia are going to take direct hits, as well as Canada and some part of America. I'm not sure exactly. I know that some people have had dreams about the East Coast being affected, but I know for sure China, Russia, Canada, and some parts of America will be affected by this meteor shower. I do feel like as the time nears, they're going to have to tell us more because we're going to see them in preparation for this. More than likely, Mr. Putin is wanting to have this laser weapon in space so that when the time nears, we will have an option of diverting this asteroid away from a direct collision. I also believe that they're going to build a platform on the ocean as well, where they will mount this very large laser weapon. I believe that construction of this has already begun.
So there are 45,000 transmit-receive modules, and this antenna can detect an object the size of a baseball at a range of 2,500 miles. That is why I say this thing can project all that power into a pinpoint beam, totally computer-controlled. The dome is 120-foot diameter. The power source is 3.6 megawatt generators for a total of almost 22 megawatts. And this carpet platform has a tow ship to move it around, so that 22 megawatts is not actually designed to go into the engines. That is designed to go into the transmitter unit. Other U.S. Navy ships have powerful microwave transmitters. This is the U.S. Navy ship Howard O. Lawrenson. It looks small, but it's actually 534 feet long. Each phased array, the boxes on the top of the deck, is a phased array transmitter. Synthetic aperture radar, whatever you want to call it, weighs 250 tons. And there's a crew of 88 on board. This is a gigantic ionospheric heater again.
Wars. It all began after President Ronald Reagan made this public address to the UN General Assembly in September 1987. He said this: "In our obsession with the antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity." Reagan goes on to say, "Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond." He went on to say, "I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet I ask you, is not this alien threat already among us?" And within a short period of time after making this statement about a unified global threat from outer space, an alien, a foreign threat from outer space that would cause a unification and consolidation of all the governments of the world. All the borders don't matter. All the economies don't matter. All the diverse cultures don't matter. All the militaristic strategic objectives no longer matter. All the economies and all the money changing of the world no longer matter. Within a short period of time after making this statement, guess what he rolled out? Star Wars. And then guess what came out? Deep Impact. And then guess what came out? The Matrix, which his name in the Matrix is Neo, near Earth object, right? Then Armageddon, and then Oblivion, and then Elon Musk, and then Richard Branson, and then Noah Yuval Harari, and then the Antarctic meetups, and then the total restructuring and the consolidation of all media all started beginning right at the late 80s into the early 90s. And so you see how this is all totally interconnected for what's going on. But in particular is from 2018 to this day. 2018 to this day was like their oh crap moment where everything went into hyperdrive. And when you look at it, it goes 2018, National Near Earth Object Preparedness Strategy Action Plan was developed. February 2019, President Trump signs the Space Force Directive Policy number 4, right? And all of a sudden is putting everything he possibly can into outer space, right? It was almost birthed overnight. Nobody even understands what's going on with it. May of 2019, New York City simulation of an asteroid impact over the course of several years and how to respond for it. They brought together NASA, Planetary Defense Coordination Office, FEMA, European Space Agency, International Academy on Aeronautics and Planetary Defense. They brought them all together in May of 2019. Their findings from that simulation was that the number one threat is humanity, not the asteroid. That was their findings. They said all efforts to deflect the asteroid would fail. Nuclear deflections would fail. They would try to detonate nukes on the asteroid and it would just fragment it and destroy even more. Sound familiar? This is in every movie for the last 20 years. These are their findings from May of 2019. The asteroid will break up and rain down smaller meteoroids and meteorites all along the East Coast. They needed a strong centralized government with supreme command and control over all communications, all technologies, and all analysis and all dissemination of information. This was their findings in 2019. Okay. They needed to centralize all press and all media control for disclosure of information about the impending event. They needed to manage any premature announcements because of the resultant systemic panic, which means they need to nullify all alternative media and alternative media platforms. I kid you not, these are their findings. Tell me if any of this has happened in 2019. They said all power would be gone, all communications would be gone, all mobility would be gone, sea, air, and land gone, all fresh water supplies would be gone, all relief efforts would be null and void, and all sustainable food production would be gone. Notice all the private land acquisitions of our farmland since 2019 by Bill Gates and others. Notice the consolidation of all supply and all supply chains, the consolidation of all armaments and all fuel and fuel reserves, the consolidation of all the media, the cancel culture of any threat of any information that would counter the official public narrative. This all began in 2019, May 2019. Now listen. Their conclusion was that there was too many people to deal with and there was no stopping the outcome of what was coming. And their only singular conclusion was that the human chaos factor was the number one threat. They needed to control the human chaos factor. Doug, what simulation then occurred in October of 2019? This was May, was all these findings. What simulation was run, an event, in October of 2019?
201.
Event 201. Event 201 happened several months later. And what was that about? A wide-scale, global, systemic health crisis that would create massive depopulation and require what? A consolidation of all governments and all relief efforts in the world. Event 201. Enter in to late 2019, early 2020. We have exactly that. We have this wholesale smokescreen to massively sterilize, massively depopulate, and more importantly, massively consolidate every single aspect of the human experience by centralized governing authorities all around the world. So you see how this just keeps going and going and going. 2020, right after Event 201 happens, right after we're starting to hear these little nuances of this global pandemic going on, the movie Greenland gets released with Gerard Butler, where it's talking about all the governments of the world knew this thing was coming in, create premature panic. And notice what they had. They had deep underground military bases that they used a lottery to take people with special skills into the deep underground military bases because of the impending asteroid event that was coming. That's what that movie centered on.
And
right?
that's a real thing.
And that's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And shortly after this, you have the Ukraine debacle with Russia and the crazy push for World War III.
Connect with me on my socials. Let's talk about all these things going on. I love you guys. I'll see you soon in the next video.